Hello and welcome to BrixFix. I am your host Brix, here today with a very special LEGO Ideas set review. This is LEGO Ideas set number 56, set number 21348, the LEGO Ideas Dungeons & Dragons Red Dragon's Tail. I am pretty excited about this. It's rare I get to review a LEGO set with a box that sits on my table higher than me, bigger than me. This could eclipse me. It is fantastic. I cannot wait to get into this one.
This gigantic set comes in with 3,745 pieces, is an 18 plus age rating, and carries a price of $359.99 in the US or $469.99 its Canadian equivalent. And I can tell you that stung. I won't pretend that was an easy pill to swallow, but just look at this. Look at this box. I picked this up at the LEGO store and I just remember holding it in my arms, cradling it like a child to my chest. This was a big purchase, and again, the old wallet, she was busted right on open after buying this, but I did it happily. Built, assembled, on display in all of its glory. Here is LEGO Ideas set number 21348, the 50th anniversary of Dungeons & Dragons LEGO Ideas number 56, Red Dragon's Tail. This set is beyond incredible. Having built it, wow, it was a lot of time and a lot of effort, but every moment of it was sheer bliss. There is so many fun little secrets, interesting building techniques, and just cool little things, for lack of better phrasing. There is so much in here. You can see around the back now, the front is more of a facade with lots of detail, lots of small pieces, showing different scales and different types of, rock terrain and things like that. But around the back, you can see it's open for play. And that's one thing I'll say about the play. It's not just a LEGO set you can display and play. It is also a game unto itself. In true D&D fashion, you can get a campaign booklet online for free digitally or from the LEGO website for insider points. I think it's 2,700 points, which is the equivalent of about $20 to $25 depending on your region. You can get it like a paper envelope with the actual campaign in it, and you can play this like a game. Just look at the table presence. Imagine this on your table, you and some friends crowded around, playing D&D, using this LEGO set, these minifigures, these creatures to play out a story. And the story's all there for you, where you can use your own imagination and build up to it and play to it. It's something else entirely. The term je ne sais quoi applies to this set in spades. This is definitely more than the sum of its parts and has so much going on that, honestly, I've been in the LEGO game a long time. I collect a lot of LEGO, I buy a lot of LEGO, I build a lot of LEGO. This set was a whole nother level, and I just can't wait to get into the detail, the close-up, so let's do that. I'll stop blabbering, I'll stop drooling, I'll stop pumping it up, and just get into it and show you the details, the close-up. I'm going to split it into its three portions. It does come together in three different builds. The inn, the main castle structure of the parapet walkway, and then the sort of ruined castle tower. So we'll get into all three separately. Tell me, folks, what adventure does not begin at a simple, humble inn? An inn is a great meeting place for adventurers to have a bit of liquid courage before they set out on the trail to adventure, and this little inn was done very well. It is the smaller of the three builds. As I said, there's the inn, the sort of stone walkway that joins up to the main tower ruin, but this was a lot of fun. This was the first thing I built. It does come with separate instruction books, so you could build whatever piece you wanted. This may be the most excited up front, so I did start with the inn, and you can see how it separates here. There's Technic pins all around it, so you can attach it to the other two pieces, but I mean, it's not huge, and it's as big as it needs to be, and it comes apart in a modular way, but just look at the detail. The wood structure to the outside, the stonework, the windows with the gilded gold on them, the entranceway, and how everything's on an angle. It's not a stoic, just square, rectangular build. There's a lot of different pieces, and it's interesting how it comes together. There's even a dock there out front if you wanted to imagine a ship's come up, or maybe that's how the adventurers got to this part of the land. They arrived by ship, ended up here, and went into the local watering hole to discuss a plan. That little smoke element for the chimney is subtle, but I like that a lot. And the stonework on the chimney, really interesting how that came together. strange as you're putting it together. It's kind of hard to see it until it's finally together, but it was just spectacular. So a lot of cute details inside here, but I just wanted to give you a really good look overall. This inn on its own could be a Lego set. Medieval Inn, set number 21465. Like, it's really incredible stuff. The inn has a very clever name, not to mention an amazing sign. That is the Eye of the Beholder there on that gorgeous sign hanging out front. It is a homonym. In Plain Sight, spelled I-N-N, and In Plain Sight with the Eye of the Beholder is a double gag there. There is a lot of Beholder action in this set, and I'm not a big D&D fan myself. I won't pretend that I know the lore, but I know the Beholder is a big part of D&D as an iconic enemy. So having him in this set, sorry, he or she, in this set, and a shout out on the sign of the name of the inn, I thought was pretty clever. Very well done. The inn is not exactly spoiled for interior space. There is enough space to, play out the storyline and do what needs to be done, but there is just the one upstairs floor, which is a room for rent, and then the whole bottom is just sort of where their caretaker would be behind the bar, and then a table for serving drinks, and a few other little details there I'll get into, but all I'm getting at is it's not a big place that you can easily fit all of the included figures in. It's as big as it needs to be, and that's about it. Close-up view of the inn second floor. This is the room for rent. There is a little adventurer's bag there just on a shelf. Not that interesting, but on the right side of the room, that is obviously a mimic with his mouth, aka the lid to the chest, wide open, ready to get you. But less obvious, that bed is also a mimic. The whole bed lifts up and there's a snarly teeth hidden inside there. Pretty scary stuff. With the top portion of the inn removed, this is the lower floor, the common room, the entranceway, and you can see the architecture down here is just as beautiful as it is on the outside. A little bit more simple, but again, they needed to make the most of the space. This isn't a big room, especially to fit all the adventurers and the barkeep all in here was pretty tough. But what's going on in here is there is a little fireplace and a window that opens to the outside. And a better look at it here, you can see the ale keg behind the bar. That was the bar there, which looks like either a healing potion or some hot sauce. It's up to you to make your own rendition, but that is a leg of chicken there beside it. And on the table in the back there, that's a barrel with the lid on it. You can see some drinks being served, and behind that, a selection of weapons. Stored there in that rack is a lute, an axe, a spear, and a fencing-type sword. And you might ask yourself, how can a lute be a weapon? You go ask the bard. The next main portion of the build here is this gorgeous landscaped scene that leads up to the parapet walkway of the castle tower, and that is an awakened one, I believe there, that tree. That is not just a regular brick-built tree, it is a sentient tree. He's got a pretty friendly face there, but I think he is supposed to be a Dungeons & Dragons enemy. As we come around the side now, you can see the front is closed in for display, the back is open for play. That is a gelatinous cube there on the bottom. You'll notice I did leave most of the monsters as part of the set for their ambience and full effect of where they are placed in the set. We'll give you a closer look at most of them, but I did leave the gelatinous cube there. And there is some little mushroom folk above that can be seen. That is above the cave on the main floor, and I think everything down below there is supposed to be a cave. There's a little prison cell there. You can see the door closed off. That would be, I guess, the main base layer of the castle tower as the parapet walkway goes across. And from the side here, you can see, again, a closer look at that sentient tree, but just a little detail there of some tentacles climbing out of the water up the side, maybe scaling the side of the tower. It doesn't really get any deeper into that. There's no actual enemy that is displayed there. I think it's just for fun. You could build it into your storyline if you wanted to. There was some foe there to conquer or something climbing out of the water to face your heroes, but really beautiful, especially from the front. This whole set just really gives off a feeling of grandeur and beauty all around. There is so much beautiful texture to this whole front piece of the set with different stones and flowers and grass elements and the trees. It's all done with, not using that many pieces, which is nice, but it really adds to some great effect there to show different terrain and different colors, and it just really gives it a good pop. That sentient tree makes me smile. Again, I'm not sure if he's friend or foe, and you can also see the mushroom folk there hiding out under that little alcove there provided by the parapet bridge walkway. The front being beautiful for display, I would say the back is open for fun play. That seems to be the ground floor there, with the mushroom folk hiding under that bridge walkway, and the prison cell of the tower there on the bottom floor. I guess that's representing their dungeon. Opening up here, there is a bit of light I can maybe get in there to show you. It's not much to see. It is just a bucket and a chain element to keep somebody prisoner there. Below ground level seems to be a cave system. There is quite a few surprises in there. I'm trying to keep this review mostly spoiler free, but I will show you a quick look side to side of what's down there, and that is a gelatinous cube, a brick-built gelatinous cube, a very famous Dungeons and Dragons enemy, and it seems to be, I've seen that piece before, that's a Minecraft head, usually represented as a Marvel Tesseract piece. I think that's representing here a smaller gelatinous cube. So there's a few treasures there, a few weapons littering the floor, and a few coins, but again, I wanted to keep this spoiler free, just a quick glance overall. The tallest portion of the set here starts off with what I think is the opposing wall of the inn. You can see a little picture there, a family portrait of some Dragonborn, and I think the intended figure to run the inn is the green Dragonborn figure, so that maybe isn't a room for rent in the upper part of the inn, that could be his room. This door then would open from the inn right into a nightmare. That is 3 skeletons armed to the teeth. One looks like a mage, another one there is armored with a large weapon, and the guy coming down the stairs has what appears to be a poison dagger and a magic ring. Well, it's a gold ring, but I'm using my imagination. I'm infected with the Dungeons and Dragons lore already here, and I am saying that is a magical ring, that you have to wrest from him to carry on in the adventure. Around the side here you can see another door that would lead to another part of the set, and a staircase that goes from dungeon level all the way up to main floor level, which is pretty cool. That's an old stair piece I haven't seen LEGO use in a long time. This portion seems to be a ruined tower, almost like a castle guard tower. It looks like it's coming right out of the mountain, which is really neat in its design and build. But you can see it is a ruin. It is closed in at the front for its looks and open at the back for play. But you can see it is heavily damaged. A lot of it just looks like rubble, whether that's from neglect and age, or whether that's from attack. I couldn't say for sure, but use your imagination. I think it looks really cool, and it probably also keeps some of the pieces out from being fully closed in, which keeps the price down. I realize, again, this is not a cheap LEGO set, but just think of what it would cost if the whole back was closed in as well. I think the LEGO designers did a good compromise here of showing some interesting scale, some good design, and with that ruined effect, sort of keeping some of the pieces out, which, like I said, will keep the price a little bit more on the reasonable side. This, again, is the inn wall with an unassuming door that you might, be having a few beverages with friends, and all of a sudden, boom, you walk through that door and you're in a nightmare. You go from talking about adventure to being in one, whether you want to or not. So I think that's pretty funny that unassuming door seems to separate good times from very bad times. This room of Skeleton Nightmare is the most open of all of the playset areas. I think it has great build appeal, like the way it's all set up with the spiral staircase, the candles on display, and the evil skeletons marching around that room. I think it's the most well done for play, and I don't think it's easy to show an underground to above ground transition, so I think the LEGO designer of this build here did a really good job showing that. It's very obvious that this is the underground portion, and the staircase leads up to ground level. There's lots of little surprises in here and little hidden things, which again, I'm keeping the spoiler free, but just a quick once over. I wanted you to get a good look at that transition from below ground to above ground. I think it's really awesome. Making our way up the tower, that appears to be a idol with a orb in the middle there, and then the next layer up you can see there's a little ruined stone staircase that goes up. That's a study. Above that portion there is a desk with some spell books and a quill, some little candles, and then above that, the third level seems to be a egg. I'm going to assume a dragon egg surrounded by some green flame candles, which looks awesome. And there's even a little ladder there with the suggestion that would take you up to the main lookout. The study area here, albeit a small room, does go a long way to show what's going on inside. The quill on the table there is fantastic, right next to a stack of what appears to be paper. Maybe somebody's writing up some spells, and the cauldron on the floor there gives the impression that someone's mixing up some brews and some potions. Above that is the top layer where you could conceivably put a minifigure, but I mean, this whole tower section is pretty ruined and smashed away, so it gives it a good effect, but it is a really nice capstone to the whole set. As this set is called the Red Dragon's Tail, I hope I didn't save the star of the show here for too late in the review, but here it is, at last, the Red Dragon, and my goodness, it is incredible, and it is gigantic. The wingspan alone with those cloth wings, it is so big, and a lot of it is articulated and posable. The wings have a pretty big stretch from degree angle to degree angle where they can be posed, looking like they're off-centered, mid-flight, just posed on the ground. The tail is attached with a socketed element, and it is very articulated the whole way down the tail length. You can show it to the side, rearing up, flat down on the ground. The legs are all on their own little ratcheted pieces, and the wings do have articulation up and down, but they're also on their own ratcheted pieces too, so they can be twisted. My only complaint with this overall, I would say, is the head is a lot of very small, intricate building pieces. It's incredible how it comes together, and it's beautiful, and the eyes are even printed elements as opposed to stickers or just nothing there at all, but it was a bit difficult to put that together. I found myself checking the instructions more than once to make sure I had it together right. I'll look here with the wings down to show you how it would look maybe at rest or as it was soaring through the sky, but this with the wings up is my favorite look and pose for the dragon. I wanted to show you a bit more of the articulation too that I spoke about. You can see that the dragon's legs here are very posable. They're on a lot of articulation points, so you can really sort of bend this up and pose it exactly like you want. Even the toes have articulation to them with the claws, which I thought was really neat. The tail is very articulate, forward, back, as well as like a side to side, and it's all done with socketed elements, and it's a little stiff as it gets closer to the rear, but you can pose it at a nice sideways angle, which I think looks the best. A close-up shot of the head really reveals all the intricate pieces. Like I said, they were a lot of small detailed pieces in a very specific pattern, but they really came together to make this amazing brick-built head, and I love that fire element. It's attached very simply, it can be removed very simply. A nice accenting piece showing what dragons do best, breathing that flame. A glance now at the other three brick-built enemies in this game. I did show you the gelatinous cube, and I'm not saying the gelatinous cube wasn't worthy, but these are, I would say, the four main enemies, and I left the dragon there for scale. You can see that they are quite substantial, but by no means any threat to that dragon. Next to the dragon is the beholder. Next to the beholder is an owl bear, and the last enemy there in black is known as a displacer beast. All very cool, all look pretty menacing. I don't think LEGO intends that the players of this game are going to be fighting all these enemies in one go, but it's nice they give you more than you need so you can pick and choose what enemies you wanted to always keep the gameplay fresh. Moving on to the minifigures of this set, on the left is the dwarf cleric, on the right is the gnome fighter. That gnome fighter has an amazing displacer beast print on their shield. Both figures have different gender possibilities as well as secondary faces. Some of the figures even have alternate weapon possibilities, so this would be showing the fighter there with the greatsword as opposed to the short sword and shield. Accessories removed to give you a better look at the figures overall. Here are their alternate face possibilities. Wow, that dwarf is, he's been through the ringer. Looks like he's missing a tooth. Really amazing prints here front to back. Like, look at how they carry over with that detail, and that's for the back side. The prints here are 10 out of 10. Here are the gender swapped looks for both figures. And the secondary faces for both of those. Wow, that dwarf looks like she means business. Keeping with the four adventurers, here are the next two. This is the elf wizard on the left and the orc rogue on the right. Again, look at their prints. These are stellar, stellar, stellar prints. LEGO. Hat tip and a chef's kiss. That orc rogue can be a ranged fighter as shown with the crossbow, or like this with the handsome set of daggers for the up-close and personal approach to combat. A look at the secondary face for the elf, no secondary face for the orc. These are the gender-swapped heads for both figures, not so obvious there on the orc, but I assure you that is a swapped head. Secondary face for the wizard here, but also a good look at their back torso prints. Amazing. Moving now to the secondary characters of this set, and before I get into it too much with the guy on the right there, I have to announce a big spoiler here. I've been keeping this spoiler free up to this point, but showing off this fig up close, I'm gonna have to announce spoiler alert for that specific guy. Or girl if you change the gender, just as far as the storyline goes. Amazing torso prints that again carry over to the back, and I wanted to give you a look at the Dragonborn's head from the back. His head sculpt is incredible, as well as the secondary face for the evil magician. Focusing now just on the evil magician, and again that was the spoiler I had warned you about. This is the main bad, I think, of the whole set next to the dragon, and this would be the female face with that same hairpiece. And now the full reveal. Tattered cape, suspicious hood up, demonic eyes, her staff, and it looks to be shooting out bolt lightning, green lightning power from one of her hands. A really amazing figure here in their fully revealed form. I can hear the cackling laughter echoing through the halls.
I gotta start off with a big deep sigh and a wow. This was incredible. I had so much fun showing this to you today. There's so many neat little hidden surprises and things that I think you're supposed to uncover while you play the D&D adventure game using this set, or maybe that just you uncover while you're playing with it, but those for the person building the set are slightly spoiled for them. But it was just fun even being surprised in the moment, putting those things together. It was hard to describe. It was almost like burying treasure for somebody else. You just couldn't wait for them to come and get it. It was an interesting feeling. The dragon is huge and beautiful. This set is massive, incredible. And don't get me wrong, this is not for the faint of heart. This is an 18+ build. It's huge. It's kind of expensive, but it is amazing. This is one of the greatest Legoing experiences Old Bricks has ever had. I had a fantastic time putting this together, and when I had it all done, I just kind of sat back and said, wow, look at this. Wow, look at that. Even things I knew were there. The little hidden underneath the rock, that little key and the coins hidden under there. I knew that was there, but I still picked it up and looked inside and pretended to be surprised all over again because it was so much fun. I love the way the ruin of the tower looks. Everything here is really, really well done and really incredible stuff. If this set is something that you can conceivably afford, I urge you to not miss out. This set is a 50th year anniversary celebrating Dungeons & Dragons, and I think LEGO did a really good job sort of hitting that home and putting a lot in here for fans of D&D, but also just for LEGO fans. If you like LEGO Castle, if you like having sets on display, and there again, if you're a D&D fan, this set feels like a must-buy to me. I'm so glad I did not let the price or the piece count deter me from picking this up, because this is honestly one of the greatest LEGO sets I have ever beheld. One of the greatest sets I've ever built. This will be fairly permanently on display in my LEGO room. Thank you so much for your time today, checking out this amazing LEGO set with me. I had a really fun time showing it to you. I hope you had a lot of fun hanging out with me. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel, and hey, leave me a comment down below. I would love to know what you thought of this amazing LEGO set. Know that you are very appreciated, and until next time, take care.